Salute. Peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power to the people, to the struggle. Salute, salute, salute. When you come on in, when you come on in, when you come on in, make sure to know, to feel, to believe that you're in a safe space, that you are energized, that you are encouraged to be great, that you move at your pace, be patient with yourself. Know we are here to learn, to solve issues, and to be on our path towards liberation. How you do, what's going on with you as the tribe comes in. Moderators, please, let everybody feel welcome. Make sure all the information is in the chat as far as green screens, as far as contact information for anger management, for coaching, for domestic violence intervention. Make sure, especially, make sure that my email is in the chat, because again, this is not promised. Social media, these apps, these sites are not promised. So please, make sure you have my email and that I have yours. Salute, salute, salute. Much appreciated for the super chat. So left field, all things do work in divine order. And as I was mentioning, please, if possible, please use a green screen, because again, when they dead these apps, when they dead these specific social media vehicles, we don't want to be the ones who have gotten them wealthy. We really don't. We are not here to make our enemies wealthy, so therefore all green screens are appreciated and are in effect. Again, they can dead this at any time. We're going to wake up one morning, or you're going to be on during the evening or late night doing your little TikTok, and bam, it's going to be gone. So all of them that's over there getting that little TikTok change and all that, it's going to be a wrap. Everybody getting this YouTube, if you have a space where you are getting into the YouTube universe, you see they just went up on the monthly subscription fees. I'm telling you, this is not a space to rely on. This is not a space to rely on. Ramsey, salute. If you have an email, shoot me your email. Utilize that as much as possible. Utilize IG as much as possible. All right? Because as a service provider, I do not rely on YouTube. I use it, excuse me, as a tool. So make sure, because we never know, they may have a new one, may pop up, and I may utilize that as well. So again, we need contact. Our people need to, again, utilize Underground Railroads and all type of coded language, everything. So please let us not get this space wealthy. Hakeem, salute, 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 salute. Peace be upon you. And assalamu alaikum, Brother Bliz. I got too short up. Few dollars. You got on your dude pop about the oily kneecaps. Joking, salute, salute. Yes, salute. And happy Juma Friday to you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So as we are moving, hold on. Let me yeah, 'cause I'm choking. Let me get it right. As you can see from the thumbnail, that we have to speak about the behaviors of athletes or people with the bag, right? We always talk about celebrities. We always talk about our people's struggle and our people who's making an attempt to find a way to get to the bag, as if that is going to solve their problems, their issues, right? And as we've been witnessing for quite a long time, I know for a fact that it's been noticeable for more than 2 decades. Some of us have known it for a very long time, closer to 3 decades, that doesn't matter what you acquire, right, as far as finances is concerned. If your issues aren't dealt with before you get the bag, when you get the bag, you're still going to be the same person, or you're still going to be the same group of people, and your issues are only going to multiply. Now it's a space where we are seeing, or we are witnessing, that the most troubling issues of and people are being paraded across social media, across mass media, and it is being used as a measuring point when it comes to viewing who we are. And again, I see different. But let's go through a few of them. And when it comes to our youth and how they relate to each other, whether it's men or women, without a definitive purpose, we always speak on purpose here, without a definitive purpose and a path, right, that is, it doesn't have to be, although we would want it to be, doesn't have to be a path towards liberation, but at least a path to balance. There has to be a purpose where you find yourself conducting yourself in a manner of which it is not detrimental to yourself, your image, and others. So I always ask that. Who are you? Where are you going? What are your beliefs? What is your belief system? Is it something you actually believe, or is it inherited? Or are you just out here all willy-nilly like vanilla sky and ain't nobody in the streets, right? So we have this young man, and again, as people come in, hey, lovely lady, peace and power. Boys, what's up? As we come in, please refresh the chat. Let them know what we are discussing when people coming in. Let them know that they are loved, that they're encouraged to, question, answer, input. Most important, because in that, we educate each other. We grow with each other. All right? We see the young man, young star, Andrew Wiggins, on the champions team, the Golden State Warriors. Now, this young man has traveled through the NBA and it's been up until this point, one of the most celebrated of the younger players. His work ethic, his image, right? Only come under question by statements from a certain you-know-who. But other than that, he has seemed to turn any type of negativity when it comes to him, which is minimal, around. You dig what I'm saying? Because, again, when people have the megaphone, when people have the audience, and they shoot certain narratives in the air, if others don't know any better, they're quick to believe it. And that is always the case especially with us and our young athletes that get millions and millions of dollars. They always try to nitpick and find something that isn't, right, viewed as distinguished, right, as intelligent, as prosperous. You dig what I'm saying? They will find something, especially when that athlete is influential, has influence. So now we have noticed, a little shift in his game. And when we watch athletes and they have a shift in their game, it's from a lack of focus, right? Something may be troubling them. Even us on the outside looking in, we can make an educated guess that if they are seemingly healthy and they are playing, that they should be at least up to 80% of themselves on the field, on the court, on the baseball diamond, on the track. If they're in their physical ability, that we know if they're not performing at that level, it's something mental. So now we're seeing stories, reports that Andrew Wiggins is having a domestic issue in his home. It seems that his longtime girlfriend, right? His longtime girlfriend was more than unfaithful. She actually bared a child from one of his good friends. But Andrew was believing that the child is his biological child. Now, the levels of which, and by the way, there's been reports that he is so disturbed by it that he may not play for the remainder of the season. Because, again, that's something heavy. That's something very heavy to deal with. As always here in our tribe, one, we always question, why do we know this information? How did we get this information? Like, why is that important for us to know with everything else that's going on in this world? Why do we need to know that? Why? Why do we need to know that? So since we do know this information, or bits and pieces of it, we would have to look at it from a space where we can either identify with that issue from firsthand experience or from witness, and make an attempt to assess what is going on, what was going on, and how do we problem solve? Because it's going on, and it has been going on for quite some time. Quite some time. And with everything else, with all other issues that we go through here, I always say the foundation of our problems, the foundation of our issues, the foundations of our clashes and misunderstandings always lead back to white supremacy. Always reaches back to the space of policy, of value, of moral. Because, again, we have not seek, right? Our moral values, principles. Who are we? Everything we got here and most of the things that we reach for is inherited. We have inherited belief systems, inherited values, inherited morals. And when you inherit something that may not be good for you, the end result is always tragic. The end result is always toxic. So we have to look at how our young men and women are dealing with each other in intimacy. What are they thinking? How are they moving? Because again, this young man was destined to be exactly where he was or exactly where he is, a champion. This is someone they've been watching. Again, they watch our kids younger, not younger, freshman, sophomore year in high school. So any young girl or woman that he is dealing with knows this. And as he begins to climb, you see that this is real. This is in all actuality going to be his life. One that is not delved in poverty and all of the issues that we have as impoverished people down here. Right? We know our issues. We speak on our issues every day. We know what we're going through. Right? Violent communities. Violent households. Poverty. Miseducation. Underemployment. Terrible health care, right? Lack of nurturing. Lies in our places of worship. Lies and deceit and stealing. You bypass all of that. So as a young woman, we have to try, because we don't know, make sense of her decision to not only be unfaithful to this young man, because it's one thing to be unfaithful, depending on your philosophy on relationships. But it's another thing to not protect yourself and him and that unit from a whole lot of off balance consequences. This is something that we have to not only as a group of people, but as parents, as elders, address. We have to address how we relate to each other so our children can be better equipped and make proper decisions. Because for a young woman to be in a space where she can go from poverty to up here, and I hate saying upper class middle because most of the people up there have no class, right? But from poverty to riches and be ready to risk it all for pleasure. I mean, is it pleasure? Like, again, that's a whole different discussion. That's a discussion on our sexual behaviors and nature. But I'm speaking of the mentality to be in a space to do that, to where you are not only going outside, but going outside unprotected, where you could have brought anything back to this man who you know is a professional athlete on a higher level. And not only to that, but you bear a child from one of his friends. That's very deep. And it goes to show that us as a people don't have a specific way of dealing with each other truthfully so that these behaviors are beneficial to the group. That's what we do when we either don't understand what we're following, what we're living. You understand? That's deep. Because again, the children are watching. Our children are always watching consistently. And when they see specific patterns of behavior, they're going to imitate it. Good or bad. They're going to do it. Right? If you're in an environment, and if you're in a household where people drink and smoke, you're going to be lucky to come up out of that household without those habits. If you are consistently amongst people who shoot, murder, death, kill, engaged in that lifestyle, 9 times out of 10, you're going to grow up in it, be affected by it, and do it. So when we're having young women raised up, and again, a lot of people speak a lot of things, a lot of doctrines are written in a certain way, but the manifestation of it, how people walk it, is very different. So I always hesitate on bringing religion into it because it's not always solid. It's just not. But when our people, our youth, and our adults move without a solid and firm belief, all type of things happen. All type of things happen. And we'll get into other hazards later, because I've been seeing a lot. We're in a space now where parents are killing children, children are killing parents. It's all over the place, all over the place. I've just seen a terrible news clip where parents made an attempt to burn their child to death in upstate New York last May, and is now just running through the media. Crazy. We just seen a young man stab his mother to death and choke his pops out in Queens. It's just when we are in that space of time where parents can view and move in a form to take their children out. And when children can see their parents and move in a space where they want to take them out, you know that there is nothing there that is guiding them in order to be better human beings. So whatever doctrine they was following or not following, we can see. We're witnessing that now. So when you have a young girl who basically has everything just put in front of her and given to her, her lack of understanding of her position and lack of understanding of what it means to be in a relationship like that brings about this here. But again, as a community, we wouldn't even know about it if he wasn't deemed to be of value because he could dribble a ball and because he earns millions of dollars doing it. We don't hear about this in the hood where it's prevalent, where you can see the young women with 2 and 3 children from 2 or 3 different friends. That's regular. We can see it. So what's wrong with the doctrines that we've inherited? What's wrong with the way of life? What's wrong with the culture that we seem to be following where this is okay? What's wrong? Or is it not wrong? And it is just shocking to people who claim to believe in something different. Now, get what I'm saying? The actions of one always affect those who are around them. Always. Cabrina says that's true. I know someone who has 2 sons by 2 brothers. And this is prevalent. Much appreciated for the comment. Mook, what's good? Peace. You understand? We need, and I'm saying need, there has to be dialogue, there has to be formulation and organization when it comes to how our people move, because we are showing and proving that we are not responsible for each other, not responsible to each other, and therefore we always end up on the losing end, even when we're damn near at the finish line. You understand? We right here. Right here. If we switch our mental and just really have a tiny bit of humility and really just have care and concern about the next individual, we will be better off immediately. But since we are following the values, doctrines, policies, and theories of our captors, we always pull on the selfish aspects of it in order to feel better and look better and seemingly have more than the person next to us. And that has never been us. Which is why we continuously witnessing all this foolishness. That's what it is. There is a space where people really don't want to see the next person with a shine, with a glow, living their potential, They don't. They don't. And you can go back to say it's one of the seven sins of humanity and all this other weird shit. You can put all that together, whatever you want to do. I, for one, will never submit to that. No, because I've seen better, I live better, I do better. Everything I do, every aspect of my makeup is to give back, is to encourage, is to bring forward. Let's go. So I don't believe in that selfish shit. Because those who stand alone are the ones in the herd that get picked off. So what would propel this young woman's mind to do that? What is the energy that's in the air? What has become the tolerated and accepted belief among our women, among young men, because she's not alone in this. The father of the child is his friend. Now, either they're wrong for that action, or, hey, we all friends, share alike. But it's obvious Mr. Wiggins didn't know about it. Do you know what is going to play into his head? Which really shouldn't be, right? You believe this child was biologically yours. You kiss this child every day believing it's biologically yours. You learned them up. You spoke to them. You wished everything in your essence good for them. So are you going to shut that off now? And why would you shut it off? Are you going to shut it off because of the embarrassment, of the pain, of you believing that it's about you? There's a lot to discuss and to talk about when he goes seeks the help that he needs. But again, the problem is very prevalent among who we are. Again, I always say, we're going to continuously have issues if we follow the values and principles and doctrines of our captors, of those who have nothing but disdain and death in their hearts for us. If you continuously make an attempt to fit in their world, to fit in their good graces, to reach, right? Just picture this. That is something that they did. They created all of that. So when we take our energy, our essence, and our potential and seek to find a space there where you can be accepted by them, you diminish everything and any purpose that you were truly put here to serve out. That's on every level. Do y'all understand me? Can y'all hear me? Chat, let me know if y'all can hear me. Somebody hit me up. Let me know if y'all can still hear. Okay. All right? These are bigger questions. Much larger questions. How do we fix this? Because it has to be fixed. Damn, that's just what came to mind. Somebody, please, I don't know if it was a TikTok. I don't know if it was on IG, but I was getting ready to view it. It's like a 4 or 5 minute clip, and it just came back to me where the brother was discussing a book where he was saying at what point was the colonizer able to destroy what we believed in ourselves and allowed him into our space? Because that's always the question. So please, before I forget, somebody, if you know what I'm talking about, DM me, hit me in my email, because I was just like 30, 40 seconds in and then somebody had a crisis. So I had to, move. And you know how your page refreshed and I didn't get to watch it. But that's deep, because that's what we're dealing with now. And we've been dealing with it for some time, because I don't care what it is, I don't care what organized religion, I don't care what doctrine has sprung about from those religions, I don't care what theory, whether it's Egyptology or anything else. They always miss that point. And I always ask that, even as a child. How did us, the most powerful people, children of universal truth, be conned into believing less than who we are and walk around in a lesser than mentality, that you allow some negative, regressive devil to implement and, forcefully, a space where you're always bowing, where you're always second, where you're always relinquishing authority to them. Because that's where we're at with it. When we relate to each other, we are doing it under the value system that has been put there for us. So you're getting these things, right? Which going into the next space. You're getting all these little funny issues, right? The next space. When I'm talking about this Larsa Pippen, right? Who, in her wildest, just said that should she marry Marcus Jordan, definitely she's taking that name. Just think of the men around that's included in that. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen Jr., Marcus Jordan. Just think of that. How toxic all that is. Where is the value system? Because every one of them is a manifestation of their beliefs. Jordan, Elder, Senior, Michael, his value system is one of American, one of capitalism, one of the NBA. These are one of Nike, corporate America. These are his value systems. This is the core. This is a manifestation on his highest level. Scottie had to share in that. They both put these same values and morals into their children, and we have no idea where she sits in all that, to where her son and one of her ex-lovers are now teammates. And yet you still running your mouth, and you would actually change your name from Pippen to Jordan. How do we relate? If you ever believe that we will be liberated following these morals, these values, these doctrines, you're sadly mistaken. Mark Milner, John Henry Clark, the late great elder, educator, said the golden age of Africa was old and on a decline before Europe was born. Well, just because something is old and on a decline doesn't mean it cannot teach. Doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Right? And even in this decline, it doesn't excuse what took place afterwards, because again, it wasn't dead. To be old and in a decline, to be an elder and declining, doesn't mean you're dead. And at that point, there should have been those of us who said, hold up, this is not right. Because this is the type of mess we in now. And again, it's always excused by the bag. The bag is supposed to make it all good. You understand? And we're living in a space where it seems to be that at any given time, any of us could get to it. But in getting that carrot, in getting that pot of gold, where are we going with it? How does it make us better? So when you don't, so now you just got this gold, you just holding it, and you're stuck. You're stuck. You're stuck in an immature, melanated state. Because as melanated beings, we are always elevating until it's time for us to transition. But when you get that, when you get the big purse, when you get the thing that your captor, that your oppressor put there for you, you can't go no further. You're stuck. You're looking around as if, oh, yeah, you got the ball. Now what? Now what? And when you get stuck, when you are retarded in thought, when you are immature in melanin, come on now. Come on. This is what we're going to keep having. This is what it is. We're going to continuously witness this. We're going to continuously witness this. And y'all got to excuse me for a second. One of my elders just passed away. Not to mention I have to go to, got to go to, my brother, funeral tomorrow in the morning, as I've told y'all last week. But one of my elders, I'm just reading the text, and she just passed. And when I say elder, I mean elder. This is my Aunt Kay. So if anybody from Brookline houses know Miss Kay, Miss Kay just transitioned. And Miss Kay is my grandmother, my mother's mother, my grandmother's best friend. And Miss Kay outlived all of them. So Miss Kay has to be 105. And if I'm not correct, I'll come back and correct it. But I believe we celebrated her 105th birthday. So, that's, again, in all the things that we talk about, this is the blessings. This is what teaches me, keeps me moving, because I'm still in touch with these individuals who always always took care of me. Black woman. You care what nobody see. You can't tell me nothing wrong about them. You know we get at some because their behaviors are off. Black woman always took care of me, always nurtured, always educated, always encouraged me. Always. So I'm gonna miss her dearly. Dearly. Always kept it real. And I mean real. Smart, smart, smart. Smart. So that was my Aunt Debbie who just was texting. Aunt Debbie's up there as well. One of Clinton Hill's finest. My Aunt Debbie used to throw these marathon parties after New York City Marathon. Everybody used to be in a party in her crib. Frankie Crocker, Ann Tripp, all of the to-duty New York people used to come through, some of the marathon runners. Everybody in Clinton Hill know Debbie Ricardo. That's my Aunt Debbie. So as soon as I finish, I got to call my Aunt Debbie and see what's good. But our behavior, man, if we don't buckle down and get serious with it and start really looking at what we're doing, bag or not, I don't know. I know me. I'm a soldier. I already know how I'm going to move and protect me and mine. I don't know about everybody else. Because again, as I said yesterday and the day before, the most dangerous space for a conscious and woke person to be is in the area of niggas who may or may not know they niggas. It's dangerous. You have to know. You have to be sharp. You have to be amongst people who are consistently on this type of time. Consistently. Consistently on this type of time. My message never wavers at all. Consistent. We're going to critique, and in critiquing you may get a chuckle here and there, but at the end, my results at the end are always liberation for our people. And moving away from the values, the morals, the institutions, the doctrines of those who are hell-bent on working us to death. And even in death, getting some type of financial benefit from it. That's always, so if you're looking for anything else here, you're not gonna get it. Not gonna get it. And again, like I said, the wealth or the riches don't matter. We have another one, another athlete, Joe Mixon, who, for all intents and purposes, is not to blame. And why would they name him in an incident, right? Just because, of course, it's in his home and all that. But the incident, again, shows and proves the bag, the wealth, the notoriety, the celebrity means nothing if you don't have a daily pattern of beliefs and a path towards uprightness, right? Like Thomas Sankara, the upright men, the upright people. Everything that you do and who you are has to be totally against what was input in you. Can't keep rocking with that. So this incident, Joe Mixon's sister, boyfriend, they call him a boyfriend, shot allegedly shot 10 or 11 rounds from a high-powered pistol at children who were playing with water guns. Now, of course, they named Mixon because it's on the property. His property. But the sister and the boyfriend, well, the boyfriend really, but he knew were children or kids and could have seen that these were children playing with water guns. He came out blasting, blazing. And then the sister made an attempt to collect all the shell casings. Get in the whip, drive off, right? At a 16-year-old. Now, what's weird for me is that they kept saying the child. He shot at the child. He shot at the child. 16-year-old child, he shot at the child. When Tamir Rice is mentioned, they never call him a child. So I'm assuming, and if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself, that this 16-year-old is not melanated. I'm going to make that assumption because even though they never or rarely name children, but they seem to make sure ours are viewed as adults. If it happens to us, or if they are the perpetrators, if we are the perpetrators. Donald Haywood, salute. Thank you for the green screen. You understand? It's consistent. So they kept calling it a child and pressing the issue has me believing that this is not one of our children. But lo and behold, this is the behavior of a man who is sitting in his girlfriend's brother's residence, play for the NFL. Where are the mental faculties of our men? Where? Every day, and I get sick of it. Sometimes y'all see me online, on IG, anywhere, and I'm just watching all day. I'm looking, and I'm seeing the citizen apps. I'm watching the news. I'm in the street. I'm witnessing it. Black men are out of their mind. And for what? For what? Because everything that we are going through, we've been going through it. Nothing new. We can watch a 1970s blaxploitation film, and we got some of the same slang that matches the conditions of today. So it ain't no harder for us now than it was back then. Back then it was even harder because they didn't have the information. They didn't have the intellect. They didn't have the technology. So what the hell is the matter with them? Again, when you are alone, when you are by yourself, when you're making an attempt to process the information and the circumstances by your damn self, you are weaker. You're at your weakest than if you were to network, organize, unite, and move as a unit. So they succumb to their vices. They succumb, right, to their crutch. Their default is to not seek strength within themselves, but to acknowledge and delve and hold on to the weakness. So we continue to have that. We're going to continuously witness casualties piling up, one after the other. One after another. And I always try to figure out, what does any amount mean? How is any amount going to shift this? Because we're watching people who got it. We're watching people who have it do the same shit that people who don't. We watch it. Y'all doing the same thing. So I know that ain't the answer. Can't be. That ain't the answer. Nah. That ain't the answer. Yeah. I used to smoke reefer. Yeah. I used to smoke reefer. Right? But then what? Then what? I acknowledge the God. I acknowledge the universe. I acknowledge the lessons, became a walking manifestation of it in both its negativity and its positivity, in its regression and in its progression. And in that balance, seek to love and encourage others, not to seek love and residency in the arms of our enemy. That ain't the answer. So I don't acknowledge nothing. Ain't nothing they do is good for me. Nothing. You dig? But I have to make that call. I wanted this to be a marathon, like I usually do every so often. A marathon Q&A where I allow the green screens to come in and us to get balance on some of the past issues and some of the current issues, and get everybody clear so we can all move together. Oh, and I want to give an update on young MA. As I said it, she was actually coming out of the hospital. I said that didn't look as someone who was high or inebriated. So that looked like somebody that's had a medical procedure because she couldn't get the words out. And that's why they sharpening her up, giving her a fresh one, because it looked like she came up out of the hospital. I said that. But again, here's social media, run with it. So when she made this statement, now look. So I titled it, Should We Be Concerned? Because if it is a medical issue and we are not a community that has access to her, that's able to reach out in a time of need, come on. Now that's someone else. So again, I mean, if this is what the tribe wants, we could get the Q&A done tonight. I mean, let me know. You dig? And it has to make, again, it has to make sense. I got a couple of sessions that I have to do, you know? A couple of sessions that I have to do prior to that. But if we're going to rock and roll, we can rock and roll tonight. You know, can't be late night, because as I said, I have to get up for this early funeral tomorrow. All right? So y'all let me know. As always, moderators, I definitely appreciate you coming through, doing what y'all do. Everyone in the chat and the tribe, let's continuously build this, man. Why is the kid still, not at 10,000 or more? I know all the magic and all the theatrics and all of the entertainment that's going on around y'all, but it's nothing that's going to assist you like solution, like truth. It always got to come back. It always. I don't care how many times you get distracted, your daily conditions always gonna force you to come and seek truth, education, and manifestation of that, because we still oppressed. So you always gonna have to come back to the truth. That's why I keep it nice and solid and simple. You and I here. So you can educate me, I can educate you, and we can utilize this technology for the time that is here. Trust and believe. Signs is coming. This is not going to continue. Too many people have been awakened. Too many people are eating it and using this as a source for resources. Too many power people. So we're going to be out of here in a minute. All right? So do what you need to do. Yo, IG, whatever, WhatsApp, I'm all over. Twitter, I'm all over. And at any given time, any of those could falter. But what cannot is our truth. So if you have to go rewatch some of the bills, go rewatch them. That's what it's there for, it's for truth. I never came over on any of this to talk and not teach and not be taught. Sometimes I rewatch some of the bills and I look at it, I said, damn, I said that? Woo! Yeah, I used to smoke reefer. Damn, I said some shit on these bills, man. The kid is sharp. Some of y'all professors need to rip some of this stuff apart and make a syllabus and curriculum out of it. Things Bliz said. Yeah, I used to smoke reefer. Alright, so salute, peace and power. We'll holler at y'all later, should time permit, should resource permit. And we'll do this all again. But remember, our behavior cannot and emphatically should not be attached to a bag, because it hasn't worked. Our young kids are losing their mind with that bag. Our elders are losing their mind with that bag. Y'all seen Smokey Robinson. Y'all seen Smokey. All this and all that. And y'all see 82 Smokey? He got long money. And he's still putting his... Come on, son. So we know that ain't it. Let's build something. Right? Let's write something down and then let's move on that. You have to reestablish the code. Okay? New value system. A new way that's going to make sure that we will emphatically love each other. Love without boundaries. Love without question. That's the only way any army can win. And love is courageous, not no shook shit.